ergonomic mesh chair. Entry-level client support. Best way to learn the ropes. I sat across the sleek glass table at North Bay Financial, maintaining a polite smile while the board of directors debated my potential hire. They had no clue they were discussing my future role in what would soon be my company, inside what would soon be my building. That's very kind, I replied evenly, watching Alvarez fiddle with his Rolex Daytona, the same model I'd given my executive assistant for her birthday at Aether Dynamics, my privately held fintech empire. Now, Ms. Blake, said Director Williams, her voice coated in thinly veiled disdain, your background is unconventional. A mathematics degree from MIT, a few scattered consulting gigs. She pursed her lips at my intentionally modest resume. If only they knew that my consulting gigs included designing the algorithm that now powered the highest-earning decentralized finance engine in the industry. While they'd been busy dismissing me as inexperienced, Aether Dynamics had been quietly acquiring their partners and setting up to take over North Bay itself. We just want to be sure you grasp the realities of corporate life, Alvarez continued. It's a bit different from your side projects. My side projects included building a $25 billion zero-cents company under the radar, but that wasn't information they needed, yet. Of course, I said with a serene nod. I'm eager to learn. Director Patel glanced at his tablet, frowning. The market's been insane lately. That new DeFi engine from Aether Dynamics is wreaking havoc. I stifled a grin. Aether's engine? My engine? Had been systematically outpacing North Bay's assets for months, orchestrating this exact moment. Never heard of them, scoffed Alvarez, waving a dismissive hand. Probably some flash-in-the-pan crypto outfit. My phone vibrated in my pocket, a silent buzz. A message from my legal team. Acquisition finalized, all regulatory approvals cleared. Well then, Williams said briskly, pulling a stack of HR paperwork closer. We'll start you at $50,000, 0 cents a year, standard health benefits, 10 vacation days. Just then, the conference door swung open. My assistant Lila swept in, her tailored Burberry suit worth more than the salary they'd just offered me. Pardon the interruption, she said coolly. But Ms. Blake, your acquisition of North Bay Financial has officially closed. The paperwork's finalized, Lila said crisply, her voice echoing through the silent conference room. And the press release goes out in 5 minutes. The room seemed to stop breathing. Alvarez's Mont Blanc pen slipped from his fingers and clattered onto the glass table. Williams's folders scattered papers across the floor. Patel's phone toppled off the table and splashed straight into his cappuccino. I'm sorry? Alvarez stammered, blinking rapidly. What acquisition? I rose slowly, smoothing the sleeve of my charcoal Armani suit. Did I forget to mention it? I paused, letting the silence stretch as all eyes clung to me. Aether Dynamics. My company has just acquired controlling interest in North Bay Financial. We've been purchasing shares for months through several different entities, I continued, quietly, strategically. Hey there, your company? Williams whispered, her face drained of all color. Yes. I smiled, accepting the folder Lila handed me. I thought it might be educational to see how North Bay's leadership handled a prospective hire. I glanced at Patel. I must say, you've all been thoroughly enlightening. This is impossible, Alvarez burst out, shaking his head. Aether's run by some mysterious crypto genius who never appears in public. Which was a convenient myth, I interrupted smoothly. One I maintained to work in peace, although, I added, tilting my head slightly, it was quite entertaining watching you dismiss my company as a flash-in-the-pan startup just moments ago. Alvarez shot to his feet so hard his chair slammed into the wall behind him. Now just wait a sec. No, I cut in sharply. You wait. I tapped a button on the sleek conference control panel. Instantly, every wall screen burst to life with Aether's logo, a swirling helix of silver and blue, overlaying graphs of market dominance, technological superiority, and the detailed acquisition timeline of North Bay Financial. While you were busy looking down on a woman with a mathematics degree, I said, locking eyes with each of them. I was building the company that just bought yours. Lila moved around the table, laying crisp documents in front of the stunned directors. These are your severance packages, she said coolly, though some of you may be considered for positions in the restructured organization. She gave a faint, knowing smile. Starting at the bottom, of course. It's the best way to learn the business. The irony wasn't lost on a single face in the room. My phone buzzed again. The press release was live. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see financial tickers outside the Salesforce tower flashing news of the acquisition. I suggest you all take some time to consider your options, I said, gathering my things. Lila will arrange private meetings to discuss your future here. I paused as I reached the doorway. Oh, and Director Alvarez, that entry-level support role you offered me, I think you might be perfect for it now. The doors whispered shut behind us, leaving them sitting in what was now my conference room. In my building, inside my company. Lila, I said as we strode toward the elevators, make sure security updates their access privileges. I'd hate for any unauthorized personnel to wander into sensitive areas. Already handled, Lila said, flashing a small smile. And the champagne's waiting in your new office, the corner suite with the panoramic view they all said you'd never have. The elevator doors slid shut on the echoes of chaos erupting in the conference room behind us. Sometimes the most effective way to deal with condescension was simply to let people reveal their true colors, before showing them who really held the reins. And this was only the beginning. The following morning, I arrived at North Bay's gleaming lobby, now bearing the fresh signage of Aether North Bay Financial. At precisely 8:00 a.m., a hum of tension buzzed through the air as employees whispered nervously, trying to piece together what the takeover meant for their futures. Blake. Lila greeted me by the private elevator, her tablet already glowing with updates. The former board members have been waiting in the conference room since 6. They're scrambling to figure out how they might contest the acquisition. I couldn't help a faint laugh as we walked toward the open-plan workspace. I pictured Alvarez and the others huddled around that glass table, flipping through legal statutes, praying for a loophole that didn't exist. Let them wait, I said calmly. I've got something more pressing to take care of first. We stepped into the main floor, where yesterday's client support reps, the very job they'd offered me, were settling in at their desks. Their chatter faded as I passed, a wave of apprehension radiating from cubicle to cubicle. Everyone, I called out, pausing in the center of the floor, could you gather around, please? It's time we talk about your futures. Employees drifted closer, some gripping paper coffee cups as though their lives depended on it. In their eyes, I read uncertainty, a lingering echo of the dismissiveness I'd encountered the day before. Only now, it shimmered with fear. First, I began, projecting my voice so it carried across the floor. Let me properly introduce myself. I'm Evelyn Blake, founder and CEO of Aether Dynamics, and as of yesterday, I'm your new chief executive. A ripple of astonished murmurs rolled through the crowd. A young woman near the front, her name badge reading Sarah Shaw, lifted a trembling hand. Yes, I prompted gently. Are we all losing our jobs? My eyes flicked to her desk, where a machine learning textbook peeked out from under a stack of customer files. The very same one I'd used at MIT. Actually, Miss Shaw, I said with a wry smile, I'm far more interested in why someone with a machine learning background is working in basic client support when your talents could be advancing our AI analytics. She blushed. Director Alvarez said I needed to start at the bottom. Of course he did, I replied dryly. Lila, please escort Miss Shaw to the data science floor. I'm sure she'll find more suitable challenges there. As Lila led the stunned young woman away, I turned back to the assembled staff. Let me make one thing clear, I said firmly. Under Aether's leadership, positions will be earned by merit, not prejudice. Skills, not politics. Innovation, not tradition. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a message from security. The board was getting restless. If you've enjoyed watching Quiet Power turn the tables, don't forget to hit subscribe. And join me for the next chapter, where the real game behind the boardroom doors begins. Those of you who've ever been held back, overlooked, or underestimated, your time has come, I said, my voice carrying across the now silent floor. And for those who've coasted on politics and privilege. My eyes flicked toward the glass conference room, where Alvarez and the others still sat fuming. You're about to find out what starting at the bottom truly feels like. The elevator dinged and my technical team stepped out, rolling in sleek carts loaded with brand new equipment. Everyone here will be receiving updated workstations, I announced. The systems you've been using are, let's just say, several eras behind Aether's standards. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the staff as the tech team began unloading ultra-thin laptops and high-res monitors. Training begins this afternoon, I continued. Another buzz from my phone lit up the screen. Lila glanced over. Director Alvarez is demanding to see you. How quickly the mighty fall, I murmured, setting my phone face down on a desk. One more thing, I added, lifting a headset from a nearby workstation. Today, I'll be working right alongside you. Gasps and soft laughter fluttered through the room as whispers spread. She's actually going to take calls. Lila, I called, adjusting the headset on my hair. Please, let the former board know that I'm occupied learning the basics of the business. If they'd like to demonstrate their own commitment to starting at the entry level, they're welcome to join me on the phones. For the next hour, I fielded client calls shoulder to shoulder with the support team, demonstrating Aether's advanced AI-driven service platform that could predict customer needs and resolve issues twice as fast. Slowly, the tension in the room began to ease. Fear faded, replaced by curiosity and excitement as they glimpsed the future I was bringing. Miss Blake, Lila said, approaching during a brief lull between calls. Director Alvarez is insisting. Is he now? I checked my watch, a glint of amusement in my eyes. Well, I suppose we've made them wait long enough. I smoothed my suit jacket and headed toward the glass conference room. My reflection stared back at me in the polished surface. I didn't look like someone who needed to learn the basics. I looked like someone preparing to deliver a masterclass in corporate justice. The conference doors swung open. Inside, the former directors sat exactly where I'd left them, only now, rumpled and bleary-eyed from an all-night strategy session. Finally, Alvarez exploded, voice hoarse, tie askew. Do you have any idea who we are? Former directors of a now subsidiary company, I said evenly, lowering myself into the chair at the head of the table, though your current status is under review. Lila stepped forward, distributing thick packets to each of them. These, she said, her voice like ice, are your performance evaluations for the past 5 years. As the men and women around the table flipped through page after page of stark figures, declining innovation, stagnant growth, a hemorrhaging of top talent, Williams sputtered, her face reddening. This is absurd. You can't possibly judge our performance, Williams protested. I lifted a hand, cutting her off. Williams, actually, I can, and I already have. I tapped the conference table console. Instantly, every screen lit up. Aether's AI platform has been monitoring North Bay's operations for months. Care to see what it found? Data spilled across the displays, charts, graphs, and damning email threads. Emails revealing discriminatory hiring practices, I said evenly. Reports showing how innovative proposals were buried. Records of talented people stuck in entry-level jobs for reasons like gender, age, or background. I zoomed in on one email thread. Especially interesting were your comments about my application yesterday. Another tech girl who needs to learn her place. My eyes locked onto Alvarez, whose face flushed deep red. That was you, wasn't it, Director Alvarez? He swallowed. Those emails were private. They were private, I corrected coolly, just like this building used to be private property, or your jobs were private. Things change. At that moment, Lila entered, carrying documents. The new organizational charts, Ms. Blake? Perfect. I passed them around the table. Now, let's talk about your futures at Aether North Bay Financial. Patel cleared his throat. You can't seriously be planning to demote the entire board. Demote? I gave a soft laugh. Oh no, Director Patel. Most of you are being let go entirely. I paused, letting the silence settle. Although, we do have some entry-level positions available. It's the best way to learn the business, isn't it? I turned to Alvarez. Good news for you. There's an opening in client services. 50,000 salary, standard benefits, 10 days vacation. Sound familiar? This is outrageous, he sputtered. I have 20 years of experience. And now, I said evenly, you'll gain some wisdom to match. Though, I checked my notes. Given your record of discrimination, I'm not sure you're even qualified for that role. Williams tried another tactic. Surely we can work something out. Your technology plus our experience. My technology, I cut in, has already replaced your outdated systems. And your experience? I gestured toward the data on the screens. That's precisely the problem. I'm not sure that's quite the selling point you think it is, I added dryly. My phone buzzed on the table. A message from the development team. Sarah Shaw, the former client support rep I'd promoted, had already proposed 3 key improvements to our AI engine. You know what the real irony is? I said, moving to the window. If you'd looked past your biases yesterday, you might have realized Aether could have saved North Bay. I turned back. Instead, you were so busy shoving me into my place, you didn't realize it was your place shifting beneath you. The shareholders won't stand for this, Patel blurted. The shareholders? I raised an eyebrow. They're ecstatic. Aether's stock is up 30%. North Bay's shares soared 45%. Turns out the market values competence over arrogance. Lila appeared at the door. Miss Blake, the press is ready for you. Ah, yes, I smiled faintly. Time to introduce the new face of Aethor North Bay Financial. I glanced at the directors. Though, you might want to skip this part. It might be awkward watching your replacement declare your obsolescence. One by one they filed out, pale echoes of their former selves. As Alvarez tried to slip past me, I stopped him gently. Oh, and about that entry-level role, I'm afraid you're overqualified. I let my gaze sweep over his rumpled suit. We're looking for potential, not expired privilege. The press conference was brief but electric. I laid out sweeping changes, digital transformation, merit-based advancement, and a culture valuing innovation over tradition. Sarah Shaw sat in the front row, wearing her new developer badge, eyes blazing with ambition. That night, as I settled into my new corner office, the one Alvarez had claimed I'd never see, Leela entered, holding a slim envelope. Director Alvarez's application for a junior analyst role, she said, trying not to laugh. He says he's willing to learn the basics. I turned the application in my hands. File it with the others, under lessons learned. Sometimes the corner office isn't handed to you, it's earned by proving everyone wrong. 1 year later, I stood in the same conference room, now addressing a transformed board. Sarah, now head of AI, was presenting innovations shaking the industry. Alvarez still emailed, each note more desperate than the last. Williams ran a consultancy no one wanted. Patel quietly retired, bewildered at how he'd missed Aether's rise. Our value had tripled. Our culture had become a case study in modern leadership. And that entry-level job they'd offered me? I turned it into a fast track for hidden talent, because the real way forward isn't always starting at the bottom. It's spotting brilliance where others overlook it. S. Blake, Lila called softly, your next meeting is here, a startup looking for guidance. I smiled. Send them in. After all, the sweetest revenge isn't just success. It's ensuring no one else has to prove themselves to people too blind to see their potential. If my story resonates with you, hit subscribe and share your thoughts below. Tell me what battles you're fighting and how you're proving the doubters wrong. Remember, power often grows quietly. Keep building, even when no one's watching. The best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's thriving beyond anyone's imagination. I never planned to buy my cousin's company, but Nathan never planned to stop mocking my